How are y'all today? I'm doing pretty good. I've been out cutting grass this morning. It takes me about 3 hours to cut everything I got to cut. I got it all cut. I feel pretty good this morning. I wanted to try to start the story of how I got diagnosed and what I went through to get there. But this all started in early 2016. And I was out in the yard, and what I was doing is I was working in the yard on some hedges and stuff, and I got this bad chest pain. And I'd had this chest pain before, but they could never ever diagnose that, or never could catch that particular chest pain. And I'd been dealing with that since I was in my 20s, and I've been on blood pressure medicine since I've been in my 20s. Out of control blood pressure. I mean, they've never been able to really get my blood pressure under control. So when I had that attack, I thought, they'll find out what's wrong with me now. So I was trying to get back in the house, and it took me about 3 tries. I'd walk so far across the yard, and I'd have to just sit down. I'd sit down on the ground, then I'd get up, I'd go a little further, and I remember getting up to the truck and putting my arms on the side of the truck. It was so hot, it just was burning my arms, but my chest pains were so bad. And then I got it together. I got on in the house, and when I got in the house, I called my doctor, my primary care doctor, and I told her, I said, I'm having some kind of bad chest pains. I said, I think I might need to come in and let you check me out. So she said, come on in. So I got in the car, and I went into her office and got there. She done an EKG on me. She said, you're having a heart attack. I said, well, I don't feel like I'm having no heart attack. I said, I feel good right now. I said, oh, what do you base that I'm having a heart attack? And she said, well, this EKG. She said, we've done it 3 times. All 3 times it comes back that you're having a heart attack. And I said, well, I don't feel like I'm having one. So she said, we need to send you to the ER. And I thought, no, you're going to send me to the ER. I know there's something wrong. They're going to admit me. But I got a problem. And I told her, I said, I can't go to ER right now. And she said, why? I said, because my dog don't have no dog food. I said, I gave her the last dog food this morning. I said, and I got to go get some dog food for the dog. So she said, no, you need to get somebody else to get that dog food. I said, no, nobody else knows what kind of dog food my dog eats, and she only eats one kind of dog food. So I was real persistent with her. I was not going to the hospital until I got my dog food. So I go out and I get in my car, and I go home. It's about 35, 40 miles from my house. I get the dog food, I take it home. Then I go by a friend of mine's house, and I said, Bobby, I said, I don't know what's going on. I said, but the doctor said I'm having a heart attack. I said, can you come go with me to the hospital? I said, maybe you might have to drive my car back or something. So he told his wife what was going on. He jumped in the car, and here we went. Him and his wife's been there for me ever since. They've really been a lifesaver. But anyway, I get to the hospital. As soon as I get there, they take me right in, because she'd already called and said what was going on. So they get me in there, and they start the EKGs and all that. And so anyway, to make a long story short, they admitted me. They done a CAT scan, not a CAT scan, heart cath, and couldn't find anything wrong. So I had a what they call a extra heartbeat. If you got one, you know what it is. People think their heart is skipping, but it's actually, they say it's an extra beat. So anyway, they done ablations on that. I don't remember if it was 100 ablations or 180. It was a whole bunch of ablations they done to my heart. But you know, that really took care of that problem, and that problem had been irritating me for a long time. But they tell me that I only have a 30% blockage. You know, that they can't find anything wrong with me. So I said, okay. So they said, follow it up with the cardiologist, and I said, okay. This wasn't Mayo. This was another hospital. I'm not going to call no names. I don't think that would be fair to anybody. But I go to the cardiologist, and I go in, and he checks me over, and he said, well, Mr. Fish, he said, next time you have shortness of breath, you need to come back in. And I'm thinking, I got shortness of breath walking in here. And now you're telling me that the next time I have shortness of breath. And I thought I'm gonna have shortness of breath walking out of here. So I walk out of there. By then I was done frustrated with him. And got in my car, went straight to my primary care doctor, little Dr. Cordero. She's a little Puerto Rican. She's about 5 foot tall, but she's a good doctor, let me tell you. She's just a good doctor. But anyway, I stopped and I told her, I said, Dr. Cordero, I said, I just fired that cardiologist. And she said, you did? And I said, I sure did. I said, he told me that if I had shortness of breath, to come back to him. And I told her, I said, I had shortness of breath walking in, walking out. I got shortness of breath now. I said, so I need something else. So she said, well, she said, Robert, she said, you've got, she called it cardiomyopathy of your right ventricle of your heart. And I said, well, I said, how come a cardiologist can't find it? And she says, I don't know. So she said, what you need to do, you need to go to Mayo. Just go through the emergency room. And I said, no, I ain't doing that. I said, I don't think Mayo can help me. So I went back home, and I was just frustrated with the deal. I didn't know what to do. You know, I knew something was wrong with me, wrong with me, but it's like you've been trying to find it for 30 years. I thought that when it surfaced we was going to find it, but nobody's finding it. So, me, one of my friends named Carl, and Bobby, we took some real good friends. Chris and Kim Hill wanted to go to the Oak Swamp. Of all places, here I am dying with congestive heart failure, you know, and I'm wanting to go to Oak Swamp. So we load up and we go to Oak Swamp, and we're in the swamp in the boat. You know, it held all of us, and we was showing them the swamp and everything, and I'm just coughing, and I'm coughing, and I'm coughing, and I'm rattling, but there's nothing coming up. You know, it's just a dry, rattling cough, you know. So we come back to shore and everything, and by then I'm thinking I got something contagious, you know, with this cough. So we sat down to eat, and I kind of sat away from Chris and Kim because I didn't want to give them what I had. I didn't care if I gave it to Carl and Bobby, but I knew something was wrong with me, you know. I think I was just giving up is what the problem was. So we all load up. We're heading home, and I remember Bobby telling me, he said, if you ain't better in the morning, he said, you need to go to the hospital. So I'm thinking, I am not going to the hospital. I'm just, nobody's going to find what's wrong with me. You know, we've been fighting this for 30-something years, and nobody can find what's wrong with me. So Sunday mornings is when I always had my problem. So I got up Sunday morning, and I had that cough, and I was spitting up blood. Well, by then I was passing blood too, and I'm like, this has went too far. I got to do something. I'm dying for sure now. So I get in my car and I drive to Mayo. Mayo's about 50 miles from my house, and it took me 3 tries to get into the emergency room. I'd walk a little bit and sit on a bench. Then I'd go a little further and I'd get on another bench. Finally, I got in the emergency room. Well, I guess they could tell I was in distress. I mean, they grabbed me up and they took me to the back and they started on me. But I'm already at 9 minutes and 40 seconds. I need to stop because I don't like long videos. So we're going to pick this back up when I was in the Mayo emergency room. There's something funny that happened there. You know, I'll tell you about that. But I'll talk to you on the next video.